Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Tombstone Tourist. Today, I'm in Salem, Virginia, at the East Hill Cemetery. East Hill is one of the oldest cemeteries in the city of Salem, and it contains the final resting place of a number of the area's most prominent citizens. The cemetery sits on a hill just east of downtown Salem, which you can see in the distance, the steeple of the Salem Presbyterian Church and the clock tower at the old Roanoke County Courthouse. As I said, this is a pretty old cemetery, founded in 1869, and some of the area's most notable citizens are resting here, including this fella, Green Board, who was the president and donor of nearby Roanoke College. He was also a judge and a member of the Virginia State Legislature. And he has one of the most ornate and largest monuments in the cemetery. But the subject of our visit today is in the center of the cemetery. And if we walk right down here, we're going to find the grave of General Andrew Lewis.
Andrew Lewis was born in Ireland on October the 9th, 1720. And at the age of 12, he and his family moved to America and settled in what is today Augusta County, Virginia. As a teen, Andrew received a frontier education and developed an interest in surveying. He spent a good bit of time surveying the Shenandoah and Greenbrier valleys, which allowed him to buy some land and try his hand at farming. In the early 1740s, Andrew married Elizabeth Gibbons. The couple settled on a farm that they called Richfield, just a couple miles west of where we're standing today. During the 1750s, the western frontier of Virginia became a battleground during the French and Indian War, and Lewis joined the local militia. Lewis led a number of campaigns throughout the western frontier, and it was during the Forbes campaign that he was captured and held prisoner in Quebec for over a year. During a conflict in 1774, Lewis led the militia to victory against the noted Shawnee Chief Cornstalk at the Battle of Point Pleasant. In the battle, Lewis's brother, Charles, was wounded and died a few hours after the battle ended. Ironically, Charles Lewis is buried just a few yards from Chief Cornstalk in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. After Point Pleasant, Lewis returned to Richfield. And in 1776, he became the founding trustee of Liberty Hall, which became Washington College, and is today known as Washington and Lee University. During the Revolutionary War, Lewis returned to the militia and was promoted to the rank of general in the Continental Army. But in 1777, he resigned his commission, citing poor health. But still, Andrew Lewis remained active, holding a position in the Virginia Legislature. And in 1780, Governor Thomas Jefferson appointed him to his executive council. September 1781, General Lewis fell ill while traveling from Richmond back to Richfield. He stopped at what is today Bedford County, Virginia, where he developed a severe fever. On the morning of September 25th, 1781, General Andrew Lewis passed away just a few days short of his 61st birthday. His body was returned to Richfield, where he rested for over 100 years, in an unmarked grave in the family cemetery. Thankfully, years later, Elijah McClanahan, who had attended the funeral and was married to the general's granddaughter, pointed out the location of the grave. Fearing that the grave site would be forever lost, the general's remains were moved here and reinterred in East Hill Cemetery in 1887.
The house you see in the distance is the Salem History Museum, and it has some artifacts from the era of General Lewis and some other interesting pieces that document the history of the city of Salem. But like most museums these days, it's closed because of the virus. If you walk down this very narrow path surrounded by boxwoods, you come to the Confederate part of the East Hill Cemetery. And this monument that stands at the entrance to the Confederate Section was erected here in 1935 by the Southern Cross chapter of the United Daughters of the Confederacy. As you can see, several of the Confederate soldiers rest in graves, and their identity is still unknown to today. And they rest here at East Hill Cemetery. Another unknown Confederate soldier. Some of the unknown graves here in the Confederate section at East Hill Cemetery were later identified, and while the original grave marker still remains. The Daughters of the Confederacy have placed this small bronze marker identifying the remains of the soldier who rests here.
Many of the Confederate soldiers who rest here died either during the Battle of Hagen Rock or from disease suffered during the winter of 1863-64. This is where I'm going to end this video. If you enjoyed our visit to East Hill Cemetery and the grave of General Andrew Lewis, please give me a thumbs up below. Be sure to ring that bell to subscribe if you want to keep up with all of my adventures. But now, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you down the road.